History. Now, this is my favorite. I love history. I've always done well in history when I was in school. I find it very fascinating. And for many years, I did history with all my kids together. This is a great one to do everybody together because you can just gear it towards their interest and their abilities. And but in the last few years, I've moved my kids to more individualized history. And the older girls do their history on their own pretty much. Sometimes I walk through things with Lydia because she gets kind of bogged down with some of the reading. And that's fine. That's fine. She needs help. I'm here. This is what I'm here for. That's my job. And then the little guys, I do the two boys together. Riley's 8, Jaden's 10, almost 11. And I just really enjoy it. I think it's just fun. So the curriculum that I have come to love is called Notgrass History. It's a family with the name Notgrass, and they have it's a Christian worldview history program. It's like in story form, so it's very enjoyable to sit and listen to when you're reading it out loud. And we do our questions. The girls have different basically they have map books, and they have a timeline book, and then a lesson review book. And so I do this with the boys, the girls do this. Let me show you what I do the boys. I'm gonna tell you right out front, we don't usually do the workbook. It's really we do like this type of thing, but they just aren't into coloring, and it's okay. They just don't like coloring, and a lot of these pages would be geared more for younger than my kids, because if your kids love to color, get the book. My boys, not so much. So basically, we don't use these. But these are beautiful books. This is part 2. I have part 1 that we finished at the beginning of the year, and we're at the second half of the year. So we just started our second book, and it's going through all American history. But these are beautiful pages. Our next lesson is on the Wright brothers, and just beautiful pictures, wonderful storylines. And then there's activities you can do. Honestly, I usually skip these. I do the review questions with them, and I do it orally with them because it's hard for little boys to just write things. Writing is really hard at this age for little boys. And so I kind of recognize that, and we just do it orally at this point. When they get older, yeah, they're going to have to write things down. And then there's some hands-on things that they can do if they want. Again, my kids don't get real into that, so we kind of just do, I just read the lesson to them. One sits on one side, one sits on the other. We read our lesson and discuss it. There's always a Bible verse at the end of the lesson. I just really love this curriculum. And like, for example, here, all around the USA map, that's in the back of the book. Rhythms and Rhymes. There's another hardcover book that's also beautiful that has different poems or songs that go along with that lesson, and a disc that you can actually play the music. If it's a song, you can actually put that track on. Honestly, we just don't use it, but it's a beautiful book if you want to use that. And then the other thing is a timeline. And again, I don't refer to this too often, once in a while, but just beautiful pictures. And it gives you an overview of history and the timeline. And so that's just really beautiful. So that's the elementary. This is the elementary history. So I would say, I don't know if they tell you what grade this is for, but I would say, you could do this with your kindergartners all the way through 6th grade probably. And like I said, I just read it to them. I do it with them. Lydia and Liana have America the Beautiful, and it's two volumes. And Lydia's still plowing through volume 1. Liana's almost done. She's halfway through volume 2. So again, there's a good example. They started it at the same time, but different kids at different levels are going to move along at different rates, and that's okay. Don't just work with your child's abilities, and they can be as successful as the other one. So again, just beautiful textbook. And they have, let me just go through a lesson. This is how God created Chesapeake Bay, and it talks about the reefs and Chesapeake Bay and the history of Chesapeake Bay, when it was discovered. And then there's activities. There's a map study, timeline. There's vocabulary that they copy into their notebook. They almost every chapter or section of hit timeline has a book to read. Like this one here is Amos Fortune Freeman, which is an excellent book that they can read. So it incorporates their literature in this. And then the student workbook and lesson review, which I've shown you. That's kind of what these books are. Anyways, we love this one. And then Liana's in this book. Along with this set, there's also this thing called We the People. And this is just where they can look at actual letters from people in history that they might talk about, cowboy songs here, recollections of General Robert E. Lee, the Gettysburg Address, Star Spangled Banner, the story of George Washington and the cherry tree, and just basically a little extra stuff that they throw in to just kind of round out the curriculum. Anyways, we highly, highly, highly recommend Notgrass History. Some other curriculums that I've used in the past that I haven't gotten rid of yet because I do like them, but everything you've seen up to this point has just been what we're using this year and really love. Something that you can incorporate, if you can find, this is an old book, so I don't know if you can even find it unless it's used somewhere. It's called Learning with the Movies, and I don't use this very often, but once in a while Liana wants to watch a movie on the topic that she's studying in history, and it's all set by like the Korean War or Europe or, let's see, World War II, World War I, Civil War, whatever the thing is. And it'll give you a review of all these different movies, like The King and I, that's under, what's that under? Hold on. It's a long topic. That's under music and arts, okay. And it gives you reviews of these movies, and since kids are home a lot these days, if you can get a hold of a used copy of this on Amazon or something, you know, it might give you some ideas for educational videos that they can watch and can be incorporated with their other subjects. It's called Learning with the Movies, A Guide for Education and Fun by Beth Holland. And one of the things I love about it is she'll tell you that there is a bad word in this one, but use your judgment for your family, or they'll tell you, you know, things that you wish you would know before you saw the movie. So that's been really helpful. The other thing is there's a curriculum called Queen Homeschool, and I have used this a lot for our language, like reading, spelling, grammar, handwriting, copy work, all kinds of things, you know. And I really love it. Like I said, we took kind of a break from it, but it's called Language Lessons for the Elementary Child for this one. They have lower levels, I forgot what the names are, and they have them all the way through high school. And they have these beautiful pictures, and they do picture studies and answer questions about that picture. They do a lot of copy work, and a lot of poetry. So if you like poetry in your language stuff, this is a poem that they copy, and the idea is that everything has to be written, you know, exactly like it is, so they get the grammatical format correctly. They learn about different types of poetry, adverbs, verbs, creative writing, narration. Narration is really great. Different things like acronyms and abbreviations and nouns, and they get to write stories. Anyways, this one we really love, and actually now that I've brought it back out, I'm like, I gotta get some more because I really like these. That would be language arts. Basically, it's like everything you need for language arts in one book, and it's called Queen Homeschool, and I'll try to remember to put that link in the bottom. This is something probably easy for you to get a hold of. It's an Usborne book, and I'm sure if you don't know of an Usborne dealer in your area, I know of one in my area, and I can hook you up with her. And this one's called Grammar and Punctuation, and it's just a little, book on that kind of thing. Another book you could come across primary language lessons, similar to the McGuffey that I use, very similar. But there's, lesson 26, days of the week, and they're learning that. They learn how to spell them. They copy sentences. There's composition, oral and written, poems that they have to read. Anyways, that's a really good one too. I really like this one as well. And last but not least, this is just one sample of several that are available. It's called History Study Time Travelers. And this one's about the New World Explorers. And again, it's just a CD that you put in your computer, and you print everything out that you need for your kids. And you do what's called lap books. And there's basically they put together kind of like by using file folders and the stuff that you print from here. They're learning about this part of history. This would be about explorers, and they literally put together this beautiful lap book that they cut out, they color, they glue it down, and they have this beautiful little timeline and little book on that whole time period, and there's crafts that they do with it, and they show you how to do all that. We've only done it a couple times because I'm not that's just not my thing. I like textbooks, I guess. But we've done a lot of unit studies and lap books and things in the past, and they really remember it. My kids, that's probably some of my kids are very artistic and creative, like my daughter Kaylee, for example. She always loved this type of schooling. She actually said she didn't, but she remembered more history from when doing this kind of thing than any other history we used. And she probably would not deny that, even though she got tired of the gluing and pasting. But this is something really enjoyable. This is put out by Homeschool In The Woods. So if I forget to put the link in it, that's what that is. Well, I hope our little video has been encouraging to you new homeschool moms. Don't panic. It's going to be okay. Your kids are going to be okay. And you can do this with the Lord's help. I hope this encouraged you.